The Zarnathi Dominion has ravaged 12 systems uncontested until an anomaly appears on their long-range scans. At first, they laugh. Then the laughter stops, because what appears isn't a fleet. It's a single, silent human warship. And it's not answering hails. Another system down. Resistance was laughable. The Dominion war room buzzed with smugness. 12 conquests in under 9 cycles. 12 systems stripped, burned, archived. High Marshal Zavrix leaned back, brushing cosmic dust from his ornate sleeve. Around him, holograms of screaming colonies played like background ambience, flickering blue projections of terrified civilians, emergency flares, detonated habitats. A gallery of victory. Human space still quiet? He asked a technician. Nodded. Their outer patrols withdrew. Not a single response. The marshal smirked. They understand their place. A junior strategist chuckled. They didn't even send a protest. Silence followed. No one questioned it, because silence, in their minds, meant submission, until a red glyph blinked on the central display. Then again, a soft pulse, unregistered signal. Unknown origin. One ship. No emissions. No ID, and it was inside. Dominion claimed territory. Marshal Zavrix leaned forward. What is that? The tech's voice cracked. Unknown. Doesn't match any known design. Doesn't broadcast. Origin? It wasn't there. And then it was. Another pause. Longer. This time, is it cloaked? No, sir. It's just wrong. The sensors keep resetting when they look at it. Zavrix rose slowly, put it on screen. The image wavered once, and then there it was, a black object. Angular, brutal, matte hull that reflected no light. It didn't glide. It hung, like it had forced space to hold it in place. No windows. No glow. Just a presence. And at its center, barely visible, one line etched in white. Unsovereign. Zavrix exhaled. That's human. The room TENCD. Another voice, too soft, too calm. Humans haven't deployed warships in 200 years. One of the strategists whispered, then why now? No one answered, because the ship wasn't moving, and that was somehow worse. It was watching. 2 hours later, the Dominion sent a scout vessel to approach it. 30 seconds into the approach, the feed cut, all telemetry gone. The ship was deleted from existence, not destroyed, not scattered, not wreckage. Just gone. And then the Sovereign moved. Not toward a planet. Not toward the fleet. It moved closer. To the Dominion's command beacon. The bridge lights dimmed across the war room as emergency failsafes activated. Zavrix snarled. Is it attacking? No weapons discharged, the tech said. But it's emitting something. Something. What? The answer came slow. Not because the system lagged, but because no one wanted to say it. A human voice. Play it. The message was short, just 6 words. We saw what you did. That was all. Then the Sovereign vanished from every scan. No warp trail. No drive flare. Just blinked out. A strategist leaned forward, pale. Are we sure it was even real? The message played again. We saw what you did. That was when the room went quiet, not because they understood it, but because something in those words made. Their bones ached. It wasn't a threat. It was worse. It was a confirmation. A voice from the darkness, acknowledging they were seen. And that was before Earth even responded. The Zarnathi Dominion didn't panic, at least not publicly. Panic was for prey, for the weak, for the helpless, clinging to crumbling shelters while Dominion stormtroopers burned cities in their name. But behind the polished walls of the Dominion High Command, cracks had formed. Marshal Zavrix hadn't slept since the Sovereign appeared. He stood alone in his private war chamber. The ship's final transmission still looped on the holopad, We saw what you did. He replayed it for the 43rd time. Same voice. No emotion, no noise behind it, no proof of weapons. Just an undeniable presence. Still nothing from Human Central Command? He asked without turning. No diplomatic contact. No signals. Answered General Drek, voice taut. We've tried every channel official, Black Ops, even old trade frequencies. They're not even blocking us. They're just ignoring us. Zavrix's claws flexed. Send out a skirmisher fleet. Track. That warship. Marshal, if I may, you may not, he growled. Find that ship, or bring me the wreckage of its crew. Drek bowed stiffly. As he left, Zavrix muttered under his breath. No one haunts us and walks away. 3 Dominion destroyers. Slipped into Sector 17A within 3 hours. Empty. No trace of the Sovereign. No human presence. Nothing but dark stars and the silent thrum of space. Until the 3rd destroyer, Iron Veil, pinged a mass anomaly ahead. Captain Lorvik narrowed his eyes. Visual, now. His crew complied. It wasn't the Sovereign. Not yet. It was worse. A debris field. Thousands of tons of Dominion wreckage. But no scorch marks. No blast signatures. Just cuts perfect. Clean, surgical, like the ships had been sliced apart. And at the center of the wreckage, a floating beacon, black, unpowered. They scanned it. It turned itself on. The ship's AI began to stutter. Feed disruption. Electromagnetic warping. Crew nausea. Then a projection burst from the beacon. A face. Human. Not in uniform. Not in armor. Not even angry. Calm. Ordinary. Unimpressed. The message was direct. You sent ships. You wanted answers. There aren't any. You knew what you were doing. You knew who couldn't fight back. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. So did we. The message cut. The beacon self-destructed. A perfect implosion. No fragments left. Captain Lorvik gritted his teeth. They want us afraid. One of the officers whispered, It's working. Back at Dominion Command, reports began stacking. Civilian ports shut down just in case. Local warlords who once begged the Dominion for aid were now quiet. Cargo routes rerouted to avoid known Terran zones. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone knew. The galaxy was watching. Waiting. And somewhere in the Black Sovereign was still moving. But no Dominion sensors could catch it. It slipped past scans. It ignored gravity wells. It passed through shielded perimeters like they weren't even there. Every few hours, a new message arrived, never direct, always intercepted by backdoor relays or military shadow hubs, always short, always devastating. We saw you abandon them. You broke treaties you wrote. This is not war, it's balance. Zavrix punched a screen, shattering it with his claw. What do they want? But there was no list of demands. No ransom. No conditions. Just sentences. Sentences that felt like judgment already handed down. Across the galaxy, the narrative was shifting. News feeds in neutral systems whispered of a new Terran ghost fleet. Some called it the Silence Doctrine. Others said the humans had awakened. An old weapon, an AI god, sealed and forgotten. A few veterans said it wasn't tech at all. Just humans. Doing what they'd always done when pushed too far. No empire declared allegiance to Earth, but none spoke against them either, because the Sovereign didn't ask for allies. It didn't ask for anything. It just appeared. Watched. And erased. In a shadowed bar on Braxis 3, 2 former bounty captains sat over grimy glasses, whispering. Did you hear what it did to Vaxxer Prime? Gone. Whole orbital platform shredded. Only targeted their control decks. They didn't touch the refugee pods. No, they guided them down. A pause. They didn't even speak to the survivors. Didn't have to. On Earth, deep beneath the Pacific War Council's oceanic vaults, Admiral Irina Kai stood at the center of a steel-plated command dome. Her hands were behind her back. Her voice calm. No new deployments. A young officer frowned. But ma'am, Sovereign's operations are escalating. Shouldn't we? She shook her head once. No reinforcements, no fleets, not yet. The officer hesitated. Why? Because they're still asking the wrong question, he blinked. Which is? What Sovereign is? She turned to face him. When they should be asking, her eyes hardened. How many more there are? On the outer edge of Dominion, space, a lone listening post picked up a new signal. A deep hum. No words, just pressure. And a name burned onto every system. Uns Caliban. Another warship. Another name the galaxy didn't recognize. But Earth did. The Sovereign wasn't alone. And Earth still hadn't responded. There were no lights aboard the Caliban. Not in the traditional sense. No navigation strobes. No formation beams. Just the bare internal glow from command relays and pulsing coolant veins, like veins through the body of a sleeping god. The ship didn't travel. It glided through folds. Space around it seemed to bend in anticipation, like it feared what would happen if it didn't make way. Commander Elias Rain stood at the center of the bridge, his eyes not on the stars, but the black canvas between them. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a hero. He was what came after the heroes failed. His first officer, Ayla Morn, broke the silence. We've received another Dominion distress call. He didn't turn? Civilian? She shook her head. Tactical Research Station. Housed one of the psych displacement labs. Children? No. Rain's jaw flexed. Just once. Send it to the Sovereign's trail. Let them record it. We don't speak first. Morn hesitated. Sir, the AI wants to engage. Rain finally looked at her. Wants? Morn nodded. It's learning from Sovereign's logs. Pattern development. Behavioral escalation. It's adapting. He stared at her a moment longer, then walked slowly toward the main display. One hand slid across the etched railing beside him. Names, human names, burned into the steel by hand. He paused at 1, Zora 11 age 12. Engagement authorized, he said quietly. The Dominion Research Station didn't stand a chance. It had planetary shielding, yes. Automated turrets. Elite drone guards. It also had arrogance, and arrogance didn't block lightspeed artillery. The Caliban arrived in orbit with no warning. Its first shot pierced the planet's equator, the second 2 minutes later. Cut clean through its communication array, without damaging the civilian shelters beneath it. Every system fried. Every Dominion officer froze. A technician screamed, "What are they targeting?" No one answered. Then came the broadcast. Text only. 3 lines. This facility harvested sentience. This facility erased memory. This facility will cease. And it did. 15 seconds later, the Caliban disappeared again. Not jumped. Not fled. Disappeared. Back in the Dominion war chambers. Panic had finally breached the surface. 3 systems had gone silent. 5 military outposts. Erased. No patterns. No contact. No chance to respond. Just names. Each time a warship appeared, a name was engraved into their signal profile. No rank. No flag. Just one more line in the list. Why are they marking children? General Drek snapped. Marshal Zaverick stood motionless. They're reminding us who we started with. Drek laughed bitterly. You think this is about morals? No. Zavrix replied. It's about memory. In the refugee zone of Carthan Ridge, an old scavenger named Brital sat alone beside his portable field lantern. He'd seen war before. Not like this. He sipped something bitter and warm, staring at the stars as children played behind him. One of them, a young girl, ran up. "Uncle Tal." "I saw a shadow in the sky." He smiled faintly. "A storm coming?" "No, it was straight, like a ship." His smile faded. He looked up slowly, and he saw it too, not moving. Just present. Then it blinked out. He whispered, "Thank you." The little girl tilted her head. "What?" "Nothing," he said softly. "Just glad someone's watching now." Earth still hadn't responded. Not officially. No president had spoken. No ambassadors were sent, and that terrified the galaxy more than any fleet ever could, because it wasn't revenge. It was ritual. The humans weren't fighting back. They were remembering, one by one, system by system. Every Dominion act of cruelty was being answered, not mirrored, not avenged with equal blood, but removed, and only the guilty burned. That's what haunted them most, because the humans weren't destroying everything. Just the right things. On board the Dominion flagship Vraxis, Admiral Lorith couldn't sleep. He kept seeing those names. Meant nothing to him. Not on their own, but he saw them in his dreams flashing in red, stamped across hulls before everything collapsed. He snapped awake for the third time that night. An officer entered. "Sir, new intel." "What?" The officer hesitated. "We believe there are more than two." Lurith's eyes narrowed. "How many?" "We don't know. Our best guess, 10, maybe more." The Admiral's breathing slowed. 10 ships? 10 warships like the Sovereign. "And Caliban?" He whispered. "That's not possible. They wouldn't hide something like that." The officer nodded. "Exactly." Lorith stood. "They didn't hide it." He looked out at the stars. "They buried it." Aboard Caliban, Commander Rain sat alone in the Chamber of Names. There were no lights, just the glow of etched memories. His hand hovered over another. One, Jerem Ka6Mont. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He just nodded. Double coat almost done. Outside, space began to twist again. The ship vanished from known charts, and still, Earth said nothing. For the first time in over a decade, Dominion Command shut down outbound communications. Not for secrecy, not for strategy, but because there was nothing left to say. System by system, their expansion collapsed not from war, but withdrawal. Commanders stopped reporting. Frigates vanished without distress calls. Research outposts were wiped so clean, even the surrounding space stopped, reflecting debris. And through it all, no human envoy ever arrived, not one. On the Dominion Central World, Prime Executor Halrex stood before the ruling council. Behind him, a live-feed holo projection showed a frozen ship above one of their final core planets. It didn't move, didn't orbit. Just floated. Watching. Double quotes. "Is it the Sovereign?" One counselor whispered. "No," Halrex answered grimly. "It's another. We don't know its name. Just another line of text across the hull." He motioned toward the display. Zoom. UNS Kairos. "We remember. Do you?" The room fell silent. A second later, the lights flickered. Not inside the room, but across the hemisphere. Electrical grids buckled. Artificial satellites blacked out. The Kairos had done nothing. No fire. No breach. Just presence. It was enough. "They're collapsing our systems from the inside," Halrex said. "Without touching them." "You mean sabotage?" Another voice asked. He shook his head. "I mean they're rewriting how power works. Our technology can't hold against their silence." Meanwhile, far from the Dominion's last embers, on a human black site drifting in a forgotten nebula, the original crew of the Sovereign stood before a star map littered with names. Not star names. Not planets. People. Every name the Dominion erased. 37 ships. Commander Rain confirmed quietly. All awake. And the last 5? Alamorn asked, waiting for signal. The commander's voice dropped. They won't need it. He reached out and tapped the center of the map. The last active Dominion fleet, their last line of defense. They've chosen silence for too long. Let's answer it. The final Dominion fleet didn't even get a chance to posture. No ultimatums. No countdowns. Just stars flickering. Then going black. Ships tried to align. Shields shut down. Tried to jump, denied. Tried to scream into the void. No one answered. And then the Caliban. The Kairos, the Sovereign, and 8 others emerged. No formation. No flourish. Just the quiet. Certainty of judgment. Each one bore names etched in light. Each one hovered like a ghost remembering, and then it ended. No survivors. No proof. Just a message. Broadcast once across every Dominion sector still listening. This is not vengeance. This is not war. This is the line. You crossed it. And then nothing, because it was done. In neutral space, stations once terrified of Terran silence began whispering something new. Not fear. Relief. A Drenari merchant told her crew they didn't. Burn us. We weren't the ones who needed to be afraid. A Zelari priest, once hidden in a cell for protecting Terran children, found his prison open. No guards, just a datapad left on the floor. One line. You were heard. Back on Earth, the vault doors of command remained closed. No speech. No press. No trophy. Commander Rain disembarked. Caliban under a steel sky and walked. Alone to the hull of memory. He knelt, etched one more name into the wall. Not a soldier. Not a child. Just a Dominion doctor who had defected to stop the suffering from the inside. Rain whispered her name, like a prayer. He didn't say anything else, because he didn't have to. The galaxy already understood. They ravaged the stars, unchecked until a human warship appeared on their scanners. And then they vanished.